Welcome back to the puppet house, my children. I'm your puppet mother. Here's where we're going today. Oh, something happened. You are playing the Stanley parable. Stanley parable. Begin, I guess. End is never the end. Is never the end. Is loading. Ne. Okay. I don't know who Ne is. So North England. I don't know. I wouldn't know. I don't even think it's a thing. I don't know. I've never been to the UK. Sadly. So it sounds like an office game. This was recommended to me by EmeraldTV. Click to skip.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Hi, Stanley.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
427.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Okay. Well, Stanley has a different...
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Me? Okay, I am... So wait, Stanley thinks that just typing at his computer is fun. Well, Stanley and I have a very different view as to what's fun. What do I do now, voice in my head?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Did I just turn that off? I'm sorry. How do I turn it back on? Oh no. There was a computer on and I think I turned it off. Pencil sharpener. I could use a pencil sharpener, but I think I left them all at my dorm. Dang it. Oh well. Is this the meeting room? That's a nice painting. 420 blazing. Where's the meeting room? Is this it? No. Is this it? No. Is this it? I just went in a circle. Woo! Co-workers up. Voice in my head. Could you like tell me where to go and what to do? Okay. Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What if I go to the one on my right? I'm going to the right. Screw you. Oh.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
I know.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yes. Yes. Ooh, this is nice.
Ah, yes. Truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No! Do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop. I'm sitting. I think that means that's one of the most confusing verbs out there. Lie versus lie.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I'm sorry. Just looking around. Oh my gosh. Do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion. It will cause death. Okay, voice in my head. Well, this sucks. Wow, this sucks. Like, really sucks.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Alright. Alright. Okay, this time let's actually follow directions this time.
He entered the door on his left.
Alright, fine, I'll follow directions. Wait. Yeah. Oh, okay, they closed the doors behind me. Hello? My name is Stanley. Stanley SquarePants. Oh gosh. Ah! Okay, that happened.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Rest in peace, Franz? I thought it said Franz, like Fond, but not Fonz. Also, maybe I could, like, write on the floor. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Me?
Everyone is unique. Oh, number of slides on a slide. Charts, slides, and charts and slides. Ah! Stop that! Rate at which chart on the same slide depicts the same information. Business. What is hot? Rate of increase in graphs per slides. Please, no more charts, please! I'm begging it! The boss appreciation minute. I don't know who my boss is, so I don't know. You're a finance employee, a diligent employee like yourself. Yourself. Remember, it takes two people to start a fight, and right now you're both of them. Why did we hire you? What are your dreams on the future? Death. Just death. That's it. Mitosis. Metamorphosis. Less air. Spray brick. Talk less. Do unbelievably amazing work all the time every day. Don't get fired. Things and money. We have our new product. Let it bulb inside of you. Take it out passive aggressive and resent coworkers for not supporting it more. Or, you know, just let it bulb inside you and just shut up. Some devil on all kicks.
I want to draw on the whiteboard. Oh well. Broom closet. Huh? What was that? Did that box just fall in? Ain't nothing for me in here, I guess.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay. Dang, this is fancy! Executive bathroom. I want to go to the executive potty. Executive potty, okay. Boss!
Boss!
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Where? Oh. It was a movie! All this time I was writing a script. Okay, voice in my head, what do I do? It's a movie set. Everything's a movie. The movie's over and everybody went home.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him?
Good.
This question would not go unanswered for long.
Okay. I don't remember.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
Oh my
Facility.
gosh. Escape. Escape or mind control. Escape. I'm escaping. You'll never catch me.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Well, the voice didn't lead me wrong yet.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
And maybe I should escape. No. I gotta listen to the voice in my head.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I am the weakest human on planet Earth, but I think I can do this. Well, maybe not the weakest. I can pick up 50-pound bag of dog food. Oh my gosh.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Oh gosh.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Let's find out.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Okay. Was it, oh, big red button. What's the big red button do? I like work. I like work. I just hate my boss. I'm just gonna hit everything. Is there a code I'm supposed to input? Okay, voice in my head, what do I do? What do I do?
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Wait, I'm not stupid. Electric shock risk. What did I do? What did I do? Where am I?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Okay. Come on.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Yeah. Dang. Beat the game. End is never the end. It's never the end. Yeah. Alright guys, we're gonna go see what that escape does.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
What's downstairs? What's down?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh my gosh.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
What the?
And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain beyond a doubt that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin,
What?
the press of the mattress on his back,
Ooh.
the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
And then he opened his eyes. Ha-ha!
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Okay. There's a car down there.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Okay.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
Oh gosh.
And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind.
Boo.
I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
She still stares.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Oh, I see what's going on. Yeah, I see exactly what's going on. Oh, that's the... Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping... Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
What?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Whoa! Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crisp, or how the heck that supposed to go. Oh. Are we typing on the toilet? Okay, that makes no sense.
Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crisp.
Okay. That made no sense. What's this? Oh gosh. Business strategy. Put a gun up to a panda's head, because that makes a lot of sense. Alright, voice in my head, where are we going? Okay. I've been in enough elevators. This elevator is not supposed to rumble. Huh?
Wait, where's my shot?
Where's this other going? That's 100 whispers saying, Stanley. Stanley. See it? I hear it. I hear it. I'm not crazy. It doesn't go anywhere. That's not fair. Indoor monthly, okay. Indoors monthly, sorry. Goodness, y'all.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation.
This is different.
But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Amazing.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okay, we ain't using that no more.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I want to meet my violent dead.
Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Violent death? Who's gonna kill me?
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
I'm not afraid. Hello? Oh. Okay, that happened. But I didn't get to see him die. Oh wait, we are dying. Wait, well, how
As
am
the
I?
machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Wait.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Whoop! Never mind. Never mind, I'm good. Whoa, what the? Wait, hold up. Goodbye, everyone. I remember you on therapy.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
What is this?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
I'm just turning off computers. They don't need to be on. Okay. Cool. Credits. Kevin Brighting as the narrator. Impeccable! Kevin Brighting. Kevin McLeod. Of course, Kevin McLeod. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Office clock. Boss's office. Screams from the development of the boss's office. So this is basically a museum. An early version of the underground portion of the game.
Stanley stood on the roof. Stanley walked over the bridge.
Kevin Brighting, the voice of the narrator, recorded dialogue for the entire game roughly 3 separate times over the 2 years of development. These are clips from early takes that were not used in the final game.
When Stanley came to the lift, he traveled upward to the power source at the top of the facility to end this injustice forever. Stanley pushed the number 6.
Okay, keep that in mind. Employee lounge. Oh, so we're going on like a tour. Alright, okay, I think this will be the last thing we do before we end the game once and for all. freedom ending. This is the very first incarnation of the freedom ending in the game's alpha.
How is it possible for the player to do anything?
One of the desks from an early countdown of the countdown ending. The countdown ending. What? For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down with freedom. And the countdown, but look. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down and placed the two endings together instead. Couldn't remember what up and down was. Up was and what down was. Obviously up is freedom. Forget it. Early version of the countdown room. Countdown room? What? What's the countdown room?
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
This is a level that William, the level designer, sent Davey, the writer, as a kind of audition piece. The strength of this level got William hired to design the full game. Though much of the environment has changed, the basic layout and the mock-up is still in the game. From left to right, the evolution of Stanley's office. Over time, first was created in November 2011, second March, okay. The office. The apartment timer. Of the choice leading to the apartment ending, a timer will give you 15 seconds to pick the phone. Not pick up the phone will lead to a different ending. Oh my. More endings, fewer endings. More narrators, fewer narrators. More Stanley, less Stanley. War zone. Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpret it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. Honestly, I can understand that. Oh, whoa. Alien base. Maintenance room. Oh my gosh. Dude, are you on a circle? Yes. Now I'm gonna go back and see what's making that weird walking noise. So it wasn't escaping. Meeting room. Oh! What? Oh. Vending model. The Zending went through many itinerations. This room represents the fourth version of the ending. And we thought it was complete, but decided to abandon and change it again shortly before launch. Which was frustrating for everyone. There is 1,000 endings. Ran 4 major teaser trailers over the course of the game development. can't stay in there for you. No. Okay, I think that's the whole, place. I think. I'm not gonna stake my life to, but I think. On or off?
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
No. Like, well, you did. I think we have to restart. I think that's gonna be it for now. 48 minutes. I can probably trim it down to 35-ish. Maybe. We'll see. Stanley Parable. Y'all can thank EmeraldTV for me playing that one. Took a while to get it out, but hey. It's out, isn't it? What more is there to say? Well, if you guys enjoyed that adventure, I mean, apparently there's more endings. If there's more endings and I missed them, let me know and tell me if you want me to play them over, play the game again so we can find those endings. Let me know and that's what I'll do. Till then, if you enjoyed that adventure, make sure you join the Puppet family if you have not already. And we'll go on much more adventures like this. There'll be laughs, there'll be screams, maybe even a combination of the two. Sorry, that game took a lot out of me. Well, good night, my children. Is this a dream?